Hello and welcome. I'm Kanika Atri, Senior Director of Strategic Marketing. If you want to know the top 10 application domains of the 5G era that actually help you make money, then listen on. Let me first reiterate that we at Juniper believe 5G is not a standalone technology. It is part of the cloud plus 5G plus AI era that collectively enables service provider business transformation. The most exciting part of that transformation is the new kind of applications and services that this era brings to life. Now, most of the time, the industry buckets them into three technology dimensions, either as an extreme mobile broadband type, or as a massive machine type, or as an ultra low latency type of application. I must admit that this approach is a bit inapt. When we looked at 100 plus new applications, we found that most of them cut across at least two dimensions. So it's better to look at them with a different lens, the lens of who's paying. That leads us to three segments: consumers, enterprises, and governments. Collectively, we expect $3.4 trillion of 5G enabled revenues across these three segments by 2026. The cloud 5G AI era will transform consumer experiences. It will transform enterprise businesses from manufacturing, healthcare, automotive, financial services to retail and agriculture. It will radically transform the public infrastructure such as utility, transportation, and safety. There will be a transformative impact on the global GDP and well-being thanks to cloud plus 5G plus AI era applications, many of which are yet to be discovered. That said, let's get into more specifics and answer some questions that service providers have on their minds today. Questions like, what's the killer app? What can we monetize first, building on our existing portfolio? What are the best bets for monetizing the new services? And what does it even take to monetize successfully? All right, so of course, everyone wants to know what's the killer application of the next decade. Simply put, we don't know for sure yet. But we do know a few related things. We know it is not gigabit broadband, which is table stakes now. We know that the concept of a killer application itself may change from being one single app to a host of apps within a larger domain. We also know that a killer network may be more important than a killer app, a network that can tailor itself to diverse use cases and, more importantly, serve those unknown use cases. Finally, we know that the killer segment for the cloud plus 5G plus AI era is enterprise. 5G enabled business to business enterprise opportunity for service providers is projected to be $700 billion by 2030. And after that, enterprises will be the highest spenders on digitization through cloud and AI. Will be the biggest beneficiaries with profound gains in productivity, agility, and transformative customer experience. Right there, you get a killer segment. At the current rate, service providers' top line growth is flattish at 0.75% CAGR, but new revenues from industry digitalization can propel that top line growth to 12% of compounded annual growth rate over the next 10 years. And that's why all eyes are on the enterprise opportunity. Now, let's talk about which 5G era applications you can monetize. Let me first share 4 examples that are a natural extension of your current services portfolio. Now, they may not be news to you, but I'll try to show you how real they are, how the first movers have already moved on launching and monetizing them. The first example is premium broadband with content bundling. Yes, I said that plain Jane gigabit broadband is not a killer application, not one that users are willing to pay a premium for. The trick, however, is to offer high-speed broadband with premium content bundles. Let's look at some real statistics from Korean 5G networks. The 5G data consumption versus 4G is 2x, from 14.5 to 28.5 gigabits per user per month. And video streaming has grown 3.6 times, Both of these driven by content bundling. In fact, in KT's recent Q1 results, they reported that 50% of all 5G subscribers opted for plans that actually come with video, music, VR content bundles. GSMA Intelligence provided a comparison between 4G and 5G tariffs of different operators, and that also suggests that consumers are willing to pay 20 to 25% premium for 5G broadband when bundled with content. Analysts couldn't agree more. As per an Omdia report, operators can expect 81% boost in 5G revenues when bundled with OTT content and offers. Video content, of course, dominates. It's projected that 5G usage will go up to 50 gigabits per user per month by 2023, of which 80% will be video. In summary, to make money with high-speed broadband, offer a premium service packed with amazing content and a great HD video experience. Let's talk about example number 2, upselling basic enterprise broadband with cloud-delivered managed services. Now think of 3 scenarios. 1, an enterprise broadband user, your typical branch office, they just need a high bandwidth, best effort SLA. 2, an on-premise 5G network, say a shipping port. They need ultra-low latency, while bandwidth may vary by application type. Or third scenario, an off-premise 5G network, let's say a university campus, which needs high bandwidth for special kind of applications running on a slice. Now, all of these use cases can be served with cloud plus 5G plus AI networks. First case, you can host the user plane on a centralized telco cloud. In the second scenario, you can build a private edge cloud and host the UPS on it. In the third scenario, you can host the user plane on the closest off-prem edge cloud. And all of the above would be supported by the same IP fabric with network slicing. But that's not the coolest part. To monetize effectively, the strategy of operators should be to offer a whole suite of cloud-delivered managed services on top of basic enterprise broadband. Services like managed security, managed communication and collaboration, managed mobility, and of course, managed network services such as managed SD-WAN, SD-LAN, managed Wi-Fi, eventually moving towards an AI-driven enterprise with wireless assurance. The global cloud managed services market is $82.5 billion by 2025. And of that, SD-WAN managed services is growing at a 48% CAGR. So in summary, to make money with enterprise broadband, offer cloud-delivered managed services easily using the same infrastructure on top. Let's talk about example number 3, fixed wireless access. 5G-based fixed wireless access has finally become a viable business case in many countries now that millimeter wave has been proven in the field. No wonder that the 5G global market for fixed wireless access is growing 100x from 0.4 billion to 46 billion by 2026. Now, LTE-based is already quite popular with 395 operators selling it globally today, and 30 of them have already moved to selling 5G-based fixed wireless access. The reasons are obvious. By using millimeter wave for the last mile, SPs can roll out broadband much faster with no fiber digging costs or delays, even extending it to the rural areas. But more importantly, they can offer a lot more than plain gigabits to the home or office, with offerings such as quad play, entertainment, smart home, and so on. And in order to deliver a fixed wireless access solution, you need millimeter wave access. You need control and user plane separation, that is a cup-based architecture running over a distributed edge cloud. You need network slicing, connected security, all of which Juniper offers. Converged operators can actually also add 5G wireless wireline convergence to the mix for a unified and seamless access experience, be it at home or on the move. And that's a great differentiator versus mobile-only players. Let's talk about example number 4, monetizing the edge cloud through CDN services. We all know that the edge cloud is the point of new innovation and value as it enables low latency services and experiences. But the question is, should SPs build a widespread edge network first, or should they wait for use cases to justify that investment? The answer is do both. Juniper has invested in StackPath to help SPs build and monetize the edge cloud from day one by rolling out CDN services as a first step. The CDN market is slated to reach $23 billion by 2025, growing at a 12% CAGR. It's one of the fastest proliferating edge services, especially as video and streaming latency matter more to end users. And our CDN as a service business model allows operators to buy and sell CDN on demand. And once operators begin to fund their edge cloud via the CDN, they can start deploying other VNF and CNF to support new 5G architectures and enable new 5G services. This is the way for SPs to insert themselves into the OTT value chain and to innovate faster by spinning up edge locations in minutes or trying out new applications in seconds. Juniper and StackPath is the only solution provider delivering a secure edge cloud today, allowing service providers to monetize immediately. In the next part, let's talk about the most promising new application domains that you can monetize. Number one on the list is cloud gaming. Cloud gaming is the new way of delivering gaming, where heavy gaming clients are not needed on the smartphones anymore because they are rendered from the edge. The gaming market is moving really fast, and many tier one operators have already announced partnerships with platforms such as Hatch, NVIDIA, Liquid Sky, Google Stadia, Microsoft xCloud. DT, for example, has even launched edge data centers just to support 5G cloud gaming. A great example of a successful gaming app was from KT recently. They used this app called Catch Heroes, an AR gaming contest for early 5G promotion, which got 200,000 users in just 1 week of launch. And their new streaming game service, it crossed 40,000 subscribers just in its beta phase. And the best part was that there was a 40% increase in daily average game playing time and a 2x increase in the weekly visitors. Analysts agree with all of this. They also predict that gaming will be the most significant early 5G revenue drivers. And 5G mobile gaming revenues are expected to be $100 billion by 2028. That's why you should start putting your gaming strategy today for the cloud plus 5G plus AI era. Number two on the list of new services is AR, VR, MR applications. AR, VR is no longer hype. 20% of the 5G traffic on Korean networks is already coming from AR and VR applications. Some notable examples include KT's Super VR, the first 4K VR offering, and SKT's 5GX plan, which entails VR-based concerts, VR-based city and museum tours, and social VR apps. And if you haven't already seen the Flying AR Dragon video of SKT's 5G launch, I strongly encourage you to check it out. It is awesome. A lot of action is happening behind the scenes as well. AT&T, for example, announced an exclusive deal with Magic Leap, which provides a head-mounted retinal display for MR apps. Third Eye is working with Verizon in their New York 5G lab to equip repair and maintenance professionals such as car mechanics with AR and MR capabilities. The market opportunity for 5G AR VR is projected at $140 billion in cumulative revenues from 21 to 28. It's actually being touted as a new advertising channel with massive monetization potential. To me, the most exciting out of all of these is actually the mixed reality applications, because MR takes AR, VR a notch further by adding the ability to interact and manipulate physical and digital objects in real time. And to enable MR, you basically need 50 milliseconds of end-to-end latency, which is possible via an off-prem edge cloud, any kind of low latency access like 5G or Wi-Fi 6. You need different slicing for rendering and interaction, and Juniper can help you with all of this. Finally, let's talk about industrial automation. I'm sure you have heard plenty of news in this space. Omdia recently launched a 5G innovation tracker based on the global 5G traction in various industry verticals. It's no surprise that manufacturing tops that list, with 35% of all the 5G related announcements coming from the manufacturing industry. Operators are actively working together with manufacturing companies to transform the entire production line. Factories will be served by wirelessly controlled robots. Even the smallest moving part, a chip, will be remotely tracked and controlled, enabling massive gains in productivity, quality, and capacity. The operator addressable monetization opportunity in industrial automation is $113 billion by 2026, growing at 75% CAGR. There are multiple use cases within this domain, but the main one is automation with motion control. The required throughput for this varies by the application, but it typically requires 5 to 10 milliseconds of round-trip latency, very, very low jitter, and 6 nines of reliability. And for that's why you need an on-premise private edge cloud for it, coupled with 5G or Wi-Fi 6 access, slicing, QoS control, and Juniper can help you with all of these. So all of these monetization examples sound obvious, but they are easier said than done. So let's understand what are the key success factors for operators to consider when going after these domains. The key message I have is that the success factors for each segment are different. Let's talk about the enterprise segment, which represents the biggest monetization opportunity. But service providers can expect a learning curve to successfully monetize this opportunity. They need a different approach from what they're used to. Number one, they should focus on a few. Pick the battles, don't boil the ocean. Two, they should invest in early discovery of problems to solve. So deep dive into the challenges of each vertical, find out how the networks can solve real problems. And this requires hiring vertical experts, partaking in their industry bodies, investing jointly in R&D. Three, the go-to-market models have to be co-created and solution-oriented. So move from one size fits all to very tailored solutions. Four, obviously, new business models, SaaS or PaaS, because that's what enterprises expect. Five, and I can't say enough of this, partnerships, partnerships, partnerships. And finally, security, trust, and privacy are door openers with enterprises. The good news is that many tier one operators have made the right start with focusing on a few verticals. And to discover some of these use cases, they are launching open innovation challenges. Those are certainly best practices to follow. For the consumer segment, the factors to monetize successfully are pretty well known. Things like having the right balance between nationwide and targeted coverage, great content and partnerships, of course, affordable pricing, preferably below 5% of GDP per capita, because that allows for mass adoption, and of course, a widespread application and device ecosystem. For the government segment, the engagement model of service providers has to change more into a public infrastructure partner. And success requires the right incentives to participate, the public-private partnership model, an open, secure, trusted ecosystem. I mean, think of domains like autonomous vehicles or smart cities. They cannot be realized without a tight partnership between the vehicle, the device manufacturers, between governments, service providers, technology providers, application providers, and the whole ecosystem. Now, all of this, it requires an internal transformation of service providers. That entails network architecture transformation towards a cloud-native and distributed architecture, an operational model transformation through automation and cloud, a business model transformation, and most importantly, an underlying cultural transformation with a greater risk appetite and a lot more ecosystem partnership. With that, let's wrap up. In summary, here is our prediction of the top 10 early cloud 5G AI era application domains. Number one, premium broadband with content bundling, cloud gaming, esports, AR, VR, MR applications. Number five, fixed wireless access. Number six, industrial automation. And a few that I didn't get to talk about today, transportation and logistics, drones for surveillance, energy, mining, utilities, the whole domain of the infrastructure, and public safety, especially for first responders. And it's quite likely that various kind of contactless services for healthcare, education, logistics, restaurants, they'll get accelerated after this COVID-19 situation. Juniper helps address all these opportunities with our cloud plus 5G plus AI solutions. We provide all the building blocks such as cloud-first platforms, distributed edge cloud, massively scalable IP fabric with network slicing, connected security, and automated operations. Juniper is here to help you create your own transformation journey and successfully monetize the next era of applications. We would love to discuss with you further. With that, thank you very much for listening and stay safe.